What's up, watch friends? Welcome to another episode of Talking Timepieces with Tony. I'm Tony, and today is Sunday. It's a beautiful day. I just hung up my Halloween decorations, and that's really freaking cool because Halloween's my favorite time of year, spooky season, you know. Anyway, today I am wearing my Rolex GMT 126710 BLNR, commonly known as the Batgirl. Just referred to as a Rolex GMT Master 2. So, anyway, let's talk about Rolex. I know this is just, it's like almost like beating a dead horse, but it's what I like to talk about, and I know it's what a lot of viewers like to hear about, and it's about purchasing Rolex. So, and the ADs and the whole whatever. So let's roll the intro, and then we'll get into it. All right.
You're watching Timepieces with Tony. Talking Timepieces with Tony. That's me.
Okay, so one of the most common comments I get on my page, and it's like frickin', I don't know, man. It's like there's like a group of you that get together and just comment. I don't know. I've been on the wait list, or I'm not gonna buy watches that I don't want in order to get a Rolex. And I get that comment all the time. And the way I look at that, it's like, who would anyone buy watches they don't want just to get a Rolex? It makes no sense to me. You know what I mean? And if you're that guy that's like, well, if I play the game and buy this watch, and this watch, and then I'll get a Rolex, then you're better off. Because if you don't like the watches, then why buy them? You're better off just buying on the gray market if that's how you want to do it. But you don't need to do that. This whole thing, some ADs, yeah, they want a big spending history, but at the same time, you don't hear people complain about not being able to get a Patek Philippe, not being able to get an FP Journe, not being able to get a Richard Mille, not being able to get certain Vacheron models. Those are watches you can't get. So you can't walk into a Patek dealer and buy an Aquanaut. Just like you can't walk into a Rolex dealer and get a Daytona. It's just the way that it is. That is the way of the world. But Patek Philippe don't make you buy shit you don't want either. They are more transparent about saying, well, we want to get a Calatrava first. That would be a start. That would be a great entry point into getting into the Patek brand. Just like with Rolex, getting into the brand, OP or Datejust. And then you move up, okay? Because keep in mind, it's all about supply and demand. I go to my AD and I talk to my AD, not just one. I talk to the managers and whatever. They're getting just as many Rolex, if not more, than they were getting prior to the pandemic. It's just the demand is huge, and Rolex can't keep up. Keep in mind, out of all the ADs they have worldwide, they have to supply watches to those companies. Some get more, some get less, some get more Daytona, some get less. You know what I mean? I'm not aware of or how many Daytonas Rolex make a year or whatever, and who gets allocated what, but those watches get allocated to each store. Now, is there a game to this? Partially. You have to be a cool person. You have to go in, show your interest, and say, this is what I'm looking for. I've not once, and I've been to my AD a million times, when I see people go up to the Rolex and talk about Rolex, and the other sales reps, they don't sit there and go, well, let me show you Tag Heuer, let me show you Omega, let me show you Breitling, let me show you whatever it is before they talk about Rolex. No, they listen, they have a conversation with you. Now, if you, again, all you want is a GMT Master, and that's the only watch you want, then you're just, at this point, probably better off getting it on the gray market. If I wanted a Patek Philippe Aquanaut, and that's all I wanted, and I had the funds to do it, I would say, hey, look, I know I can't go into Beverly Hills and buy a Patek Philippe Aquanaut and say, hey, I'm a huge watch fan, blah, 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 I want an Aquanaut. They're going to laugh you out the store. Paul Thorpe says that he got laughed at, or his, whatever that guy's name, Spencer, got laughed at Rolex, and they make it sound like they went, ha ha ha, you'll never get one. I don't believe that happened either. I think he's over sensationalizing what he said. There might have been a sort of like a kind of laugh type thing, but I highly doubt they laughed him out the store like they say they do. It's just all about drama, creating drama. But the thing is Rolex, I don't know, they are becoming a little bit more exclusive. They are harder to get, you know. But again, you know, refer to those other brands I mentioned and see if you can get one of their watches, okay? But the people that complain and cry, if you have to cry, don't buy. Oh, I sound like that other dude now. If you have to cry, don't buy. And I'll just use that as a fucking catchphrase throughout the video. You know, the thing is if you don't want to spend a ton of money and you just want a Rolex, you want your, say, an OP or a Datejust, you'll get one. You might not be able to walk into the store and buy it first try, you know what I mean? But you also have to not only show your interest in what you're into, what you really want, you know, and then follow up. You know, there's a way to follow up. If you don't follow up, you're not going to get anything. I have another person that I know that wants a certain Rolex but doesn't follow up. I've got offered that watch twice now and I've turned it down. I'm not going to mention which one it is, but I was offered a Rolex last week and I turned it down. But I'm waiting for another Rolex. I'll get it. And people also think that I just have this, I can walk into the AD and buy whatever I want. You see a Daytona on my wrist? No, you know. The thing is the people that, when you talk about those people that have the spend history, it's people that truly, like for me, I have a big spend history. Every watch I've bought is a watch I've wanted. Now, if it's a watch that, like the Breitling Top Time, I didn't get along with it, so I got rid of it. I didn't want it after I got it. I wanted it when I bought it, though, and I didn't buy it because it added to any type of spending history. I'm just a true watch fan, right? Now, just because I have that doesn't mean I can get whatever I want. Now, I know that my AD wants to get me a Daytona. It just hasn't come in. Now, keep in mind, if you're the new guy going in there, and they've got a long list of people that have spent money, that are cool, that have followed up, not being a dick with a chip on their shoulder like, well, I've got this much money and I deserve it, and I've seen that plenty of times, you're just not going to get the watch. You know, you're not the only one looking for that specific watch. There's a million other people that want that watch that you want, but there's also a million other people that walked in there with a much better attitude and did spend some money. And just because they did that doesn't mean they're next on the list for a Daytona either. They'll eventually get one. One of my other viewers that literally cool as fuck, Lewis, and you saw that video I did at Don Cuco's where I interviewed Juan, my AD, and Lewis was there. He went in there, cool, he's a super cool guy, and he got an Explorer, and then his wife bought him an Omega for his birthday. But you know, and his next one is going to be a GMT Master, right? There's no big major spend history there, people. You know, it's not like he just has been spending and spending and spending, and now he's going to get a GMT. It's because he's been super cool. He's polite. He's nice. He's willing to wait. He doesn't pester anybody. He just does everything the right way. You know what I mean? So it's not all about a spend history. You just got to have the right attitude too. And again, you know, I'll get these comments, well, I shouldn't have to, Well, you're just probably an asshole anyway. You know what I mean? Sorry to say that, but you know, you've got to be cool about it. You're not going to walk into FP Journe, go into Beverly Hills, walk into an FP Journe boutique with an attitude. Man, they will laugh you out the store. You know, walk in there saying you're a true FP Journe fan and you want a double tourbillon, you ain't never going to get it. You have to start somewhere to get somewhere, right? If you don't want an OP to get a Submariner, well, you know, I don't know what to tell you. If your end all goal is just this one specific watch, probably better off getting it on the gray market. What can I say, you know? So I don't know if I'm making a whole lot of sense, but again, when it comes down to, you know, also there's Bucherer Rolex, you know, there's that whole thing. I was talking to the manager at Bindi, and I asked him what he thought about the acquisition and how I think, or I asked him, what does he think? Will it affect them? And by the way, you ought to see their new store. It's freaking awesome. It hasn't opened just yet. I think it might be open, but it wasn't open as of last week, but they finally took all the boards off of it and you can see inside. It's absolutely gorgeous. Glendale Galleria. And he's fairly confident. He goes, I don't think it's going to affect us at all with their allocation of Rolex. He's like, because Rolex don't really want to get into retail, however they are in retail. You know, how that's going to affect other brands who sell at Bucherer or whatever, I don't know. I don't want to get into that whole thing. But, you know, as it stands, you know, they're getting as many watches as they have. They don't get too many Daytonas. I know. And they don't get too many GMTs or Pepsis or whatever. They get a certain amount, and everything's allocated throughout their sales reps. So say they get so many watches a month, and they've got 10 sales reps, then those watches get allocated to each sales rep. You know, this sales rep might get a Daytona where this sales rep might not. This sales rep may get a bunch of ladies date justs, and this sales rep may be getting Submariners, and this one may get whatever, and then however their customers are, because really when it comes down to it, those reps allocate those watches to their customers, right? I think if it comes down to like Daytonas, then there's more management approval on that aspect of it. But if you want to buy a Rolex without the spend history or anything like that, go in, be cool. I mean, OPs are awesome. You know, they're hard to get too. Datejust, great watches, you know, but you'll get one eventually, you know, but just follow up, do your thing, right? So kind of rambling a little bit, but it's not that difficult, you know. Make it happen for yourself, you know. Just think about this. You have to make it happen for yourself. And if you go in with a shitty attitude and you're aggressive, it's not going to work. You're just not going to get the watch. Well, I shouldn't have to, blah, 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 blah. What you're saying is it's okay because you're spending money to go in there and treat someone like shit because you have the money. You know, that's what I call like new money attitude. You know, well, I got $10,000 and I should be able to get it. Well, you know, not all of us were spoiled as children, and we appreciate what we've gotten. You know what I mean? I remember, you know, you're a little kid, and at Christmas time, there's a whole thing about naughty and nice on the list and whatever, and the naughty kids don't get shit. You know, it sort of applies as an adult with bigger boy toys. You know what I mean? It's like if you go in with that fucked up attitude, you know, what do you expect you're gonna get? If you treat your parents like shit all year round, and then for Christmas you want the fucking bicycle or whatever, and you don't get one and wonder why you don't get it. You know what I mean? But then there's those spoiled kids that get whatever they want. Those kids in Beverly Hills. Well, if you don't get me a Mercedes for Christmas, then blah, 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 blah. And then they get a Mercedes. Drive through Beverly Hills, Christmas Day. The amount of like new Mercedes and shit like that have the big bows on the cars in the driveway. It's astonishing. You know what I mean? But it's a whole different thing. So, you know, again, have the right attitude. Be cool. You know what I mean? Don't kiss ass. Don't be all like, you know, start a conversation and go to another AD too. If you know you're not going to hit it off with that sales rep, go to another AD and find someone that you do hit it off with. You know what I mean? So, I guess having said that, that's all I have to say. But I appreciate everyone who likes, subscribes to my channel. You guys are awesome, and I got a review coming up this week because I got a new watch. It's not what you think, but anyway, I don't have the watch yet. I'm getting it this week. So, all right, we'll talk soon. I just went like that. That's so wrong. You can go like that. That's Ronnie James. Yeah, but the Shaka's got to go like that. Peace out.